All right. So yesterday, and I know that that we, on a serious note, yesterday, watching some and listening to some of the RFK Jr. Confirmation hearing, it is weird anytime you see Democrats attacking a Kennedy. That's always strange. And then it was weird to watch Democrats become these advocates and protect Big Pharma.
Yeah.
That was weird. I was like, are y'all now the Big Pharma is great, and how dare anyone question Big Pharma people? Aren't y'all Democrats? I mean, but then that started. So you had some of that yesterday. Now, there is no doubt, and this is just a fact, and I know it bothers some of you when we do it, and you know how that upsets Greg especially.
Yeah.
But he does sound odd, and it is difficult, but I want everyone to know that, that I know that's something he can't help. But some of the stuff he's talking about, it really is important. As a matter of fact, he's taking on things you've heard us talk about on this show, and he even references in some of it. It is weird what's happening to the overall health of our country. As it got pointed out many times, we are a overweight, sick society. We're not well. And a lot of it, people think, is due to the horrible diets that we have in America. And then the pharmaceutical companies saying, well, this is leading to bad results in health. And now we're here to solve the health problem that was created by things that could have been avoided. And it just is, we're in this terrible cycle right now. And I will tell you that years ago, my wife began to study, and we did too, and you see this in the elderly, that bad gut health really has a lot to do with whether we have good mental health. They're tied together. And how did we know that? Well, if you've ever had someone in your family who was elderly, something simple as some gastrointestinal problem or a urinary tract infection, they will lose their minds. Mm-hmm. They won't even know where they are, and you'll be like, what's going on? So we know that, and there's a fogginess that comes with bad gut health, and of course, bad gut health is usually tied to a horrible diet and some of the things that are in the foods that we eat. And it's just this perpetual cycle, these food allergies that now have overtaken, it seems like an entire generation of children that we never saw before. The rise in the autism spectrum and all these things are real problems. And I'm actually thankful that somebody is wanting to take these things on. Mm-hmm. So it was an interesting display yesterday, because the all-loving, all-caring, supposedly Democrats seemed upset with someone who was trying to be caring, and trying to take on this health issue and we do have a health issue in this country. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but yesterday wasn't about that. Sadly, it was he committed the ultimate sin.
Right.
He moved over to Trump.
Yeah.
Right.
And yesterday was all about that.
Did I hear Bernie hollering?
Yeah. Bernie
gets upset about onesies at one point, and we got that.
I know what that was.
Yeah.
I come in right in the middle.
Elizabeth Warren, Bernie, all of them.
Yeah. And so Elizabeth Warren will get us started. Now this is
gosh,
she's
so irritating.
This is a weird one, because Elizabeth Warren, as we know, gets, I forget the exact number, but it's over $1 million that we saw that she got from Big Pharma.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's going to tell RFK Jr. he better not be taking money from Big Pharma.
Right.
And so, it's
the ultimate
it's
here.
just so strange. So here it is.
I sped it up just a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, did
Not
you?
a bunch, just
Thank
a little
you.
bit.
Right,
Just
okay,
for
yeah.
RFK's voice.
Okay.
Will you commit that when you leave this job, you will not accept compensation from a drug company, a medical device company, a hospital system, or a health insurer for at least 4 years, including as a lobbyist or a board member?
Can you just repeat the last part of the question? Can I commit
You're
to
not going to take money from drug companies in any way, shape, or form.
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to commit to that.
Okay, good. That's what I figured. And I think you're right on this
I don't
question.
think any of them want to give me money, by the way.
I don't think anybody wants to give it.
But you know what she's
gotta do
saying?
something about it.
It's like he's on your knee.
If you pay attention, though, what she's saying is she wants him to commit because because they're giving her money
Yeah.
to be an advocate for them.
1.2.
That he'll commit not to sue them if we discover that they have been doing things to the people that maybe are suable.
Right.
She's wanting him to go on record that he won't sue the pharma companies because nobody's going to give him money for him being an advocate for Big Pharma because he's not going to be.
No.
And so that was an interesting exchange there. And I know we're getting up against the break, so I don't know if we can get into another when we come back. Yeah, I think we can get to 3B.
Okay.
Yeah. This is him talking about what we are, about how now Democrats are opposing him, of all people. So here we go.
I love how he's having to speed it
All
up.
these Democrats are opposed to me for partisan issues. They used to be my friends. Agreed with me on all the environmental issues that I've been working on for my whole career. Now they're against me because anything that President Trump does, any decision he makes, has to be lampooned, derided, discredited, marginalized, vilified.
We need to move on.
It's true.
That's kind of the
Got
reason.
like John Bobbitt behind him.
Yeah.
On his left, you see?
Okay, that's not John Bobbitt.
Did you not see it?
Yeah, I tell you what's funny is
Look like-
to watch
What's
some
he
of the.
Who's John Bobbitt, Greg?
Yeah, and then how would you be able to recognize him?
I look
mean,
right there,
guy
right
right
there.
there?
No, the other one, back out, right there.
This guy?
Yeah.
That looks like John Bobbitt.
Yeah.
That's what you took away from this.
Greg, I think that's somebody that's like on security detail for him.
Yeah, I didn't know John was doing that.
No, Greg, I don't think he is.
He's doing other stuff.
All right, we'll come back and we'll finish up some of these exchanges, including Bernie upset about onesies. And
Onesie like
well, he didn't like there's these onesies that have unvaccinated and unafraid on them. And he's going to blame RFK Jr. for that for some reason, that he's making money off of them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
This is the Rick Burgess Show.
All right, so we're talking about RFK Jr. And you know what? So far, we're just getting the facts. We're not doing impressions of him, and we're not talking about his voice. He can't help it. I understand that. Of course, it is prominent. We have sped up a little bit. I think that's made a world of difference, Adler. But you remember one of the concerns that we have, and you heard me say, look, some of these things he's taking on, we need these answers. I mean, we got a problem, and that we've talked about, and nobody seems to want to address it. He seems to want to address it. But then there's a little bit of concern. You don't want him to be the guy that punctures the fun zone. You don't want to be the guy that comes in, and at first he just says, I don't like the food over here. And then the next thing you know, he's taking out the food trays and telling the DJ he's too loud. You don't want him to be that guy. And he makes it clear that he does not want to, ban things and exclude certain things, like not give us access to them. He said, all I want to do is just inform you. So you do whatever you want. You eat whatever you want. But I want to get you the information so at least when you go out and eat, you're informed on exactly what you're eating. Yeah. So I'm not here to ban. I'm not here to, here we go. Here is, here he is taking that on.
I don't want to take food away from anybody. If you like a cheeseburger, a McDonald's cheeseburger or a Diet Coke, which my boss loves, and you should be able to get them. If you want to eat Hostess Twinkies, you should be able to do that. But you should know what the impacts are on your family and on your health.
Yeah, bottom line. And really that's the way he also sees vaccines, which I agree with. It's the same way I see vaccines. I'm not anti-vax, but I am for safe vaccinations, and I am for us to being knowledgeable about vaccines and use them correctly and wisely. And I do want to minimize all the potential side effects to anyone and my loved ones as well.
To be able to ask those questions.
Yeah.
To even ask, like, what are the side effects?
Sure, you can't get to this thing where you're called anti-vax if all you do is say, well, I sure would like to know all the information about the vaccine.
Right.
So here we go. Next one, he's going to be asked, is he a conspiracy theorist? I think all of those that were called conspiracy theorists with the COVID vaccine, I think they've all been vindicated. But here is the question being asked by Tillis, a Republican out of Florida.
Are you a conspiracy theorist?
That is a pejorative, Senator, that's applied to me. mainly to keep me from asking difficult questions of powerful interests. I was told that I was a conspiracy theorist. That label was applied to me because I said that the vaccines, the COVID vaccine, didn't prevent transmission and it wouldn't prevent infection, when the government was telling people, Americans, that it would. I was saying that because I was looking at the monkey studies in May of 2020. I was called a conspiracy. Now everybody admits it. I was called a conspiracy theorist because I said red dye caused cancer. And now FDA has acknowledged that and banned it. I was called a conspiracy theorist because I said fluoride lowered IQ. Last week, JAMA published a meta-review of 87 studies saying that there's a direct inverse correlation between IQ loss.
All right, so I'm going to assume
I could go on for about a
so
week.
Yeah, go on for a week. So there you go. And then this weird thing with Bernie Sanders.
Bernie.
I'm starting to get used to his voice, and it's a little clearer to me.
Good, Greg.
After you've been exposed to it long. I have a limit, though. I do have a limit, and
we're speeding it up too, though.
We are.
Yeah.
maybe
So
that helps.
yeah. So the
That tank's filling up.
yeah, it is. I got you. And we're almost done. Greg.
We're almost done, Greg.
Yeah, we're almost done. Yeah. But you can't miss Bernie Sanders mad about onesies. So so this exchange is just bizarre. And some people are saying, keep your eye on Megyn Kelly. Now, it's also, as a texter, saying, we keep forgetting that RFK Jr. is married to the actress from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's right behind him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but we keep forgetting that. But anyway,
It's hard to take her serious
right.
because I think she's that real character that she plays.
yeah, I know. You think she's actually Larry's wife, but
Yeah.
it's not.
It's not.
All right, so here we go.
Are you supportive of this?
I've had nothing to do with
Are you
leadership.
supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is militantly anti-vaccine? Are you-
Of these onesies.
Do you support the onesie?
If you would have told me that during this hearing that we were going to bring up some onesies, I'd have never believed it.
Oh, you
Or
support
that
him.
John Bobbitt would be there. I didn't know either one of them were going.
Well, it's a
And the lady
onesie.
from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
It's a onesie that parents have the audacity to decide if their children are too young for vaccines or they want to, have them vaccinated when they get older and, things like their brain develop and all that. And it says unvaccinated and unafraid. Are you behind this onesie? And he's like, I don't have anything to do with that onesie. I don't have anything to do with that
Tell you what I'm
onesie.
mad at, these onesies.
Somebody on the text line says, I'm afraid that Bernie had one on. It was too tight. That's a good one, by the way.
Do you think his staff went, hey, just so you know, you asked him if he was,
screamed.
you support these onesies?
you
You
said it.
support the
Yes.
onesie.
Yeah.
It's not bad, Adler.
All these things we got to deal with. He's worried about the onesie.
Oh, yeah. All right, so here is the Democrat. We're going to New Mexico now. So he is. You're going to see something about Medicaid here, and of course, once again, these people just act like that RFK Jr. isn't informed, and they're hoping he won't be. And he keeps pointing out, no, that you don't have that right. So
Could you go normal speed just this one time?
Yes.
Just to
No,
see?
well, guys, this was going great.
It's a long clip.
This
Sweetie.
was
We
great.
can't-
Come on, please.
I just don't-
Please go normal.
I just forgot what it was like.
Okay.
I didn't
All
know.
right.
I might
Thanks,
go
Speedy.
speed it back
Thanks,
up.
buddy.
All right. Let me know if I need to speed it up halfway.
Yes or no, do you support cutting Medicaid or reducing, and especially in an area where you and I spoke about with the federal investment in Medicaid, which is known as FMAP?
President Trump has not told me to that he wants to cut Medicaid. He's told me to make it better.
I can understand him better.
I think I can too.
Do you support cutting, yes or no? Let me ask you this way, since it's only about
I
President
support
Trump.
making it better, Senator.
If President Trump asked you to cut Medicaid, will you do it?
Oh, it's not up to me to cut Medicaid. It would be up to Congress. And
You don't
I'm going
answer.
to work.
I'll-
I'm going
Sir,
to work.
Mr. Kennedy,
Senator.
Mr. Kennedy, you don't want to answer? I'll move on.
Wow, what an idiot.
He did answer you, Nimrod. What about when you heard the guy in the background? We need to take a bathroom break.
I heard that.
I thought it was one of us. I was like, well, we got 2 minutes.
Kennedy said, that's right.
Greg, see?
That's it.
about the bus.
Greg, this one we were just going to let him inform us.
Okay.
Okay?
That was their Greg.
But
in the
we,
background.
but no, we. In all fairness, we've asked Greg. We've asked too much of Greg. 2 segments. It's too much.
Y'all killing me. I
Yeah,
have a
I'm
limit.
sorry. No, you're right. I'm going to say you're right. So
I kind of wish he was in here live hanging out with us, but still.
yeah, and then we have a
I'd
quick
like to experience him
But you'll
personally.
like this one, Greg. A quick one out of Minnesota where a guy calls him a senator, and he's kind of like, "What? I'm not a senator."
Okay.
All right, so here we go.
Are you behind these onesies?
Do you support the onesie?
Would never make because there's no science on that.
Well,
Senator.
there is, Senator. I mean, excuse me, there is, Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you for the promotion.
The-
Thank you for the promotion.
Thank you, Buster Brown.
All right.
Just here.
Do you think 3G? No.
I can play it. I can play
It's a lot.
it whenever you
it's
want.
a full 60 seconds.
It is. It is. I'll go 1.25
For the promotion.
So, well, people are now saying they can understand him better. It's just bothering Greg more. So we had to pick. We'll pick the audience.
You know.
Do you want to get into all this though? Is it just another thing where he's saying, talking about, because we do seem to have a rise in Alzheimer's, by the way. So let's hear it because he's going to talk about this as something that we've really been seeing 20 years ago. So here we go.
The gold standard means real scientific research with replication of studies, which very rarely happens now at NIH. We should be giving at least 20% of the NIH budgets to replication. We should make sure that all the science is published with the raw data. We should make sure that the peer reviews are also published. And I'll give you a quick example. 20 years ago, NIH scientists did a study on Alzheimer's, which they said it was caused by amyloid plaque. After that, NIH shut down studies of any other hypothesis. 20 years later, we now know that those studies were fraudulent. NIH has funded 800 studies on a fraudulent hypothesis, and we've lost 20 years in figuring out a cure for Alzheimer's.
Wow.
So what's happened is what we kind of saw with the pandemic, that you're not allowed to question hypothesis. We're still treating man-made global warming like it's not a hypothesis, that it's scientific fact when it's not. This plaque thing, like he said, we spent 20 years on the wrong road, and we could have been trying to possibly find a cure for Alzheimer's because we won't allow strong debate and people to refute things and people to take what's supposed to be the scientific method and stop treating hypothesis like it's fact.
Yep.
So there you go. Greg, you did good, buddy. I wasn't too bad. You only did an impression of him a couple times.
Man,
I was at my limit, though.
You need to wear one of those onesies.
Yeah, okay. So that's it. That's all the RFK Jr. today.
Good.
Okay, we'll be right back.
This is the Rick Burgess Show.